Welcome. Thanks so much for being here for these sustainability awards. My name's Nazneen Rahman. I'm the CEO and founder of YewMaker, and we were hosting these awards together with Connect in Pharma. So I wanted to just start off by telling you a little bit about me and why I'm here and why I'm doing this. So what we do at YewMaker is we build science-based solutions to make healthcare good for us, good for planet, and good for business. Really wanting to think about that triple bottom line. If we're going to have the impact that we need to have because of climate crisis, because of the impact on healthcare, we need to make sustainability the way we do business because it's just the best way to do business. So we do two things at YewMaker. My background is as a scientist and a doctor and really in sort of data science, so we build sort of technology. I'm not going to talk about that today. But the other thing we've really built is partnerships. It's clear that if we're going to need radical types of collaboration, new ways of collaborating, if we're going to make a difference. So to build these solutions, we need to build them and then we have to actually implement them. So to do that, we set up a couple of years ago now the Sustainable Medicines Partnership, which is a multi-stakeholder action collaborative of 48 organizations. And together we're executing a 4-year program to build, test, and scale sustainable medicines frameworks and solutions. So action is absolutely key to that, and this is, I don't think it's quite all of the people that we have within the partnership, but one of the things that I think was absolutely key to this partnership is it's cross-sector, it's across the whole of the ecosystem. We have manufacturers, we have healthcare deliverers, we have logistics, we of course have packaging, because one of the things we often talk about is that packaging is a central part of the function of the medicines and the medical device. It's not just something to stop that medicine getting wet, it's really key to that functionality. And one of the first things we did in the Sustainable Medicines Partnership was come up with a sort of conceptual framework. What is it that we need to do in order to make medicines more sustainable? And that was over a period of about a year, discussing through the whole of the partnership and beyond. And we came up with this framework, which we call the Pillars of Sustainable Medicines. So these are, it's not everything you might need, but certainly we need these 6 things to work if we're going to make our medicines more sustainable. We need to have measurable impact, so we're designing and implementing metrics. We need to have end-to-end visibility, dynamic tracking through that supply chain. All too often, we just don't know where our medicines are. We need to have better shelf life. We need to leverage digital, and in particular, we're interested in making patient-centered information more digitally accessible. We'd really like for every dose to be used. About 4.5 trillion medicines are made every year. Tens of billions of them are thrown away without ever being used for all sorts of different reasons. And last but by no means least, we need to have sustainable packaging. We need to have circular solutions to reduce single-use packaging and ensuring that that packaging and the medicines can facilitate having a more circular and sustainable supply chain. And one of the key things we want to do, in addition to making those solutions, is to share that knowledge and particularly to share inspiring examples. I'm actually relatively new to sustainability. I had a whole career in genomics and cancer genomics before I did this. And one of the things that I sort of discovered was that though we've only really heard about it relatively recently, there have been people in sustainability for the 10, 15, 20 years who've been working really, really hard while the rest of us were unfortunately not paying enough attention. So one of the things we wanted to do was to shine a light on the innovators, the people who have been grafting away, making a difference, building new sustainable innovations. And so that's why we decided to have the Sustainable Medicines Packaging Awards to really showcase the innovations that are working today. They're already operating. And we had the first one with Connect in Pharma last year. It was the inaugural year of Connect in Pharma and also of the Sustainable Packaging Awards, so that felt like a nice win-win. And we were really blown away by the innovation and the energy and the enthusiasm of the submissions. So we're doing those again this year, and that's what we're going to announce today. There are 2 awards. There's the Design Award, and that really showcases innovations that reduce the waste and increase sustainability of packaging without compromising function. And of course, that's absolutely key. That packaging there is for a key function that cannot be compromised. And then secondly, we have the Circularity Award, showcasing those services, processes, or products that's helping to bring that circularity into the supply chain and to reduce single use. So I'm going to move on now just to tell you about the finalists, and we're going to go to the Design Award finalists first of all. And we had 6 of these. So there was a new IDC from Ernov Healthcare Packaging, AmSky for Amcor, Making Electricity with Paper and Enzymes from BeFC, IGB Tamper Evident Folding Box from Industrie Graphique Bressin, PulPac and PA Consulting with their PulPac Dry Molded Fiber DMF Blister, and PharmaGuard from Sudpac Medica. So in time-honored fashion, we're going to go in reverse order. So we're first going to announce the Bronze Medal Design Award, and that went to Amcor from AmSky. So we'll give them a hand. So I don't believe there's anyone from Amcor here, but I'll just check. Anyone from Amcor here? So I will do a little bit to try and tell you a little bit about them. So it's a blister system, and here it was to reduce vinyl, PVC, and aluminium to make that blister pack recyclable. Of course, we need to have systems that will allow it to actually get recycled, and we all know that that circularity is difficult. So it's a sort of mono-material solution, which has these various benefits that they tell us. So thank you and congratulations to them. I think everyone else is here, so that was... so we'll move on to the silver winner for the Design Award, and that goes to PulPac and PA Consulting. So I'm going to hand over the podium to Jamie, and you can tell us a little bit about your innovation.
Hello. Hello. Thank you. Thanks very much. So what is this? Anyone heard of DMF before? Good. You can read the slide. I'll talk. Dry molded fiber. You must know about paper. You've all seen it. There's wet molded fiber in the world. There's dry molded fiber in the world. Wet molded fiber has been around 50 years. You've all bought an egg. It comes in an egg box. Dry molded fiber is the opposite side of that. No water in the process at all. And with no water becomes vastly less energy, about 80% less energy. So when you look to remove plastics out of any one supply chain, paper becomes a nice material. Oftentimes that means higher energy use and higher water use. So as a circular piece of packaging, it's actually not really that good. This technology at its base level, which can make many things, has none of those. No water, far less energy. With those two things, you also get a couple of other important things for people who make mass manufacture. You get very high-speed manufacture, cycle times you'd be used to and like, and you also get cost of goods that are similar to the cost of goods of commodity plastics. The reason to do this, then, this technology can do many things. In the world today, it mostly does commodity knives, forks, spoons, plates, things you'll find in FMCG, fast food. There are a couple of big initiatives in the world that we're really passionate around where the move away from single-use plastics is very important. One of it is a bottle, the other one is a blister. So today we're showcasing the blister. The questions you will have, and I can happily answer them over coffee, is can it provide barrier? Actually, yes, it can provide barrier. You need to add barrier to a piece of paper to make it do anything. Is it circular? Well, yes, we measure ourselves on can it effectively go down a recycle line, a MRF? Will it be collected in the paper stream? Those things are yes. Importantly, will the paper stream want it when they get it? Because that's the true thing. Recycling is a business. If you don't add value to the business goes bankrupt. So we measure ourselves part to part on adding higher quality fibers to the waste stream. That means that they get better money. That means that they're monetized to want to collect this pack and sort it.
Thank you very much. Can we do them afterwards? Is that all right? Thank you. So we'll move on to the gold winner, and that was awarded to BeFC for making electricity with paper and enzymes. So congratulations. Let you tell us a little bit about it.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the award. So we're keeping the theme alive here with paper. Essentially what we do is biofuel cells. We use enzymes that convert sugar and oxygen to make electricity. It's bio-inspired. We started as a research at the CNRS in France on implantables, so powering pacemakers using the sugar and oxygen in the bloodstream. Then we took it out of the body and made it into a battery. So I think there's two key central themes. One is making sustainable packaging, as in materials, and the other one is digitalizing this packaging. When you can make the two, that's great. So the idea here is digitalizing packaging, so imagine adherence monitoring, connected solutions for injections and so on, with a paper-based battery. So there's no metal, there's no plastic in it, so it's biodegradable and compostable. We can work on the external layer of the paper to give it characteristics. And essentially, it enables sensors, so pressure sensors, temperature sensors, any types of MEM sensors, and can be easily integrated in packaging. So today we work with 10+ clients, leading pharmaceutical companies, leading logistics companies as well, to integrate this energy solution into their packaging to make it connected and sustainable.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks. So those were the design awards, and I hope you agree that they're really inspiring and showing us what's possible in the future. So we'll move on to the Circularity Awards now, and the finalists here were again PulPac and PA Consulting, Sustainable Mineral Antimicrobial Technology from Pylote SAS, PharmaGuard from Sudpac Medica, and SymbioTex Limited for their Seaweed-based home compostable medical devices. So we'll start with the Bronze Circularity Award, and that goes to SymbioTex Limited. Congratulations.
Good afternoon. At SymbioTex, we take seaweed and we produce home compostable filaments and pellets, which are processable on standard industry machinery, but at even lower temperatures. This means that we can license our technology out to pharmaceutical manufacturers. They can injection mold the exact same medical devices, but this time they'll be home compostable. Why seaweed? Well, seaweed is a natural carbon sequesterer. It's a renewable source, and it has perfect properties that we need to make our material home compostable at the end of its life. I'll let you have a little bit of a look, but why we wanted to target medical devices, as a figure, in the UK alone, 60 million inhalers are distributed across the UK, and only 0.5% are ever recycled. The rest are going to landfill, which is a huge amount of plastic waste that is non-recyclable. We know that the recycling system currently isn't meeting what it should be at rates around 9%, so we wanted to come up with something that didn't add any extra effort onto the consumer or onto the waste management systems within healthcares. And that came down to Class 1 medical devices, which are mainly used in the community. And it just simply means that next time you finish with your inhaler, you can just pop the canister out, pop it in your normal bin or your food composter, and it will just break down naturally into the environment. So yeah, that's what SymbioTex does, and thank you, everyone. Thank you.
And the Silver Award goes to PulPac and PA Consulting again. I'm sorry, bridesmaid but not a bride. But do you want to tell us about the circularity benefits?
Hello. Okay, circularity. I'm going to tell you two things. Circular and then how you drive scale. So circularity, I talked around some of it already. We measure, you can't do an LCA thing that doesn't exist, and an LCA needs a supply chain and all of those things that I can't predict as an inventor of a technology. So we measure ourselves on, can we replace something in an ethical way? So we do that, as I said, by value at a MRF where it's applicable. It's a piece of paper. Piece of paper will dissolve in the atmosphere as well, so you can put other, we are actually looking with colleagues, like we just talked there, around alginates as a barrier coating, then it will allow it to degrade. An interesting point, though, for everyone here is how do you drive scale? There's three, essentially, startups picking up awards today. We drive scale by making an MVP, and we take it to the market. So in this Blister example, there will be 10 seats we sell at the table to the biggest pharmaceutical consumer healthcare companies in the world. They join, and they join because they need this technology. If we try to develop this and then sell the end product, you would get something that's not very cost effective, and it would take a bazillion years to get it to scale. With the partners of the big pharmaceutical companies of the world, they invest early, they know the technology they're developing, they can apply it to their supply chain early adopters, will get scale faster, we get cost faster, and we actually change the planet in a better way, faster. Cooler.
Thank you very much. And then finally, our gold winner for the Circularity Award is Pylote SAS.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So my name is Loïc Marchin. I'm founder and CEO of Pylote. Okay, too much words. Maybe I will summarize a little bit. So we are, since almost 15 years, engaged into the microbial risk reduction. So microbial risk reduction means to reduce the risk of infection. So I guess that each of you already discussed about that at home, at work. COVID-19, food recall due to contamination. So we are engaged to reduce this risk by adding surface with capacity to destroy directly bacteria and viruses. So we do that, and we need also the different brands, manufacturers with us to have a collective engagement to reduce this risk. It's, for example, the second leading cause of death worldwide, the infection by bacteria. So it's a very huge and critical topic. And also, bad news, very recent from US. It's concerned the 8 drops that was contaminated, only 1 bacteria, and 3 people died, 78 lost the sight. So that's a very huge concern. Not something very popular, to be honest, but we have the solution now without any metal, without any nanoparticles, without any release. So it's fully efficient, robust. That means that it's work along the shelf life of the product. Also safe, already listed among pharmacopoeia. It's also certified against the different certification and standard from the medical device ISO measurements. And also sustainable, and it's why we are there also, because we are from the beginning, a startup at the beginning, company that developed the technology based on the green tech, clean tech chemistry. And that's also because the impact are not only to protect people's health and well-being, but also when we avoid an infection, we then also reduce the quantity of medication need to treat this infection and secondary infection, and then less material, less transportation, less waste. And we have also an impact into the economical aspect, because just for the conjunctivitis in US, the cost was calculated to be more than 1 billion per year in US. So it's a huge impact due to the microbial contamination. So we have the solution. The technology itself is not able to avoid that. So we need, and I want to thank our partners, the brand owners and manufacturers that already engage this process with us to reduce the risk for the patients. And then we need also all the engagement and collective engagement on that. So we have a booth, D25, so we are ready to discuss about how to bring this innovation and protect patients from this risk. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So we're going to have a short panel discussion and a Q&A. We're actually going to be stopping this session at about 2 minutes to 4 because there's another sustainability session in Theatre 2 and we didn't want to be competitive with them. So I'm going to ask now for all of our winners to take a chair and bring it up to here so we could have a short panel. And let's give them another round of applause while they're doing that. I think we'll go up on the stage. A little bit low, if that's all right. Great. I'll actually open to questions from the floor if there are any questions that people would like to ask. Please, let me give you a mic. Okay, we can put that down.
I want to ask about the connected packaging topic, yes, because of course this is really interesting and promising many advantages. However, I would like just to ask you a question about the impact on the price of the medication. Yes, because I think this kind of technology might be quite costly. So, and I would like to make sure that if there is any kind of impact on the cost. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe I'll actually broaden that out. I think, so thank you for your question. It was about what are the price impacts if we're going to have sustainability? Is it going to cost more, or how is pricing going to impact us in terms of scaling that out? Perhaps, Sofia, you'd like to start.
Thank you for the question. So the first point is that there's a choice that is made into going towards data-driven information. So you want to collect the data, whether you want to collect the data about how often the patient is taking the medication, when the medication was taken, a timestamp, and so on, and communicating that data via Bluetooth, via NFC, via Sigfox, different communication protocols. You have some choices. Currently, the most common choice is going towards lithium and alkaline coin cells. That's the market standard. These are usually around 50 to 40 cents. We're ramping up the industrialization. We just closed our Series A round right now to be able to industrialize the cell to go down to less than 10 cents. The battery, the one that I was showing there. So there is an additional price, totally. Now, if that can help you get data to make more sound decisions, where you know where the medication is getting wasted so you can arrange it better, if that makes any sense.
So in a sense, you're adding added value there, that you're getting, hopefully moving to a world where we can have sustainability value, but also having extra value.
Exactly. And just one last thing, lithium prices are just going to keep going up. And if the lithium is going to be used somewhere, it's for the larger batteries, not for the coin batteries, while enzyme prices go down as you buy more. So that's also a price point where we're going on.
Anyone else like to speak on that? Jamie?
Hi. I could answer that in about 9,000 ways, so I'll probably pick three. Firstly, most new innovations are subscale. With subscale and being developed by a single point contact, you end up with IP ownership, and then you drive super premium to try and get value back in your invention, in the investment of that. We build our technology the other way. We crowdsource, the way I said. We sell seats to the table. We give early mover advantage in that way. We actually build the first alpha line so we can take the blueprints to the converters so they can make what it needs to be made and get good commodity prices. Sustainability isn't more expensive, it's just not well funded and not well thought through. The other way to think about it is in most products, sustainability is seen as the opposite to consumer experience, and it's not. They can all be in the same thing. There's no reason from a designer's point of view that a product and a pack and experience can't be more sustainable, more beautiful, more desirable, and cheaper if you actually think about it as a circular piece of thinking.
Thank you. We all have to do our bit, though. If this is the world that we want to deliver, we'll all have to do our part. Any other questions? Perhaps I'll ask a question. I think one of the things that we have wanted to do is to sort of inspire other people to go along this journey. Could you perhaps share a little bit about, I'm sure there have been challenges along the way as well as joys, but it's really helpful, I think, for people to hear what is it that's made you do that and has kept you on that journey, and do you think it's still going to be pretty hard if people are going to start doing this now, or do you think we've hit tipping point where this is where everybody wants to move? Perhaps I'll ask you first, Loïc.
Yeah, thank you. Sure, the sustainability become for sure the huge topic in the actual discussion. I mean, globally. So that's for sure a need and a request from the market, not only in pharma. I mean, generally. So we have also to be there to bring differentiation and capacity to reach this kind of request. The point is that we need to do that with a certain kind of responsibility, viability in terms of economy, and also the innovation is there to solve this kind of questions. So I think it's something that will be necessary, a standard in few years. I mean, as we saw for other kind of innovation and requests from the market. So in few years, probably we will not discuss about that. It will be normal. So that makes sense to be there and to, again, thank you for the award for that.
And Olivia, you're our youngest finalist. You had the world was at your feet. You could have done so many things. What drove you to this work, and do you think it's something that your generation are looking to?
Yeah, for me, what drove me here, and I know it sounds a bit cliche, but was the passion. So doing something that I was genuinely passionate about, and I think that really can come across to people. It was whilst I was on placement within the NHS and I saw just a true extent of single-use plastic that there was. And I thought, something's got to be done about this. And one of the questions I get asked a lot is, we have a plug-and-play system that can produce rigid bioplastics from seaweed. We could use that for anything, but that could probably make us a lot more money than the healthcare sector, right? And this is every single time I speak or do a pitch, that's the same question I get. And to me, it comes down to the impact that you're going to have. The scale of impact, the fact that we all need healthcare and touch points with healthcare for various points throughout our life, the impact you can have is just enormous. And yeah, I think it's a difficult question to answer really about how the challenges that you face. There's a new landscape that we're navigating with different ISO standards, with different CE markings, especially in the UK because of Brexit, different home compostability standards as well. There's a lot that you really need to take into consideration, but I think that we're all, as someone once said to me before, we've all crossed the finish line together, so all of us that have come up with sustainable alternatives, or no one crosses the line at all, and I think that's probably my final point on that, is it's great to have events like this today, that we still need more solutions. There's not a one solution fits all, there's room for everyone to come up with sustainable innovation.
Thank you. Yes, no, absolutely. That's a great way to finish. And I think one of the things I found really inspiring is that I'm meeting people kind of at the tail end of their careers. I'm sort of heading there, and people right at the beginning there, all thinking that we have to work together. As you say, we either all win or we all lose. There's only one human race, and this is the planet we're living on, at least for now, until Elon Musk sorts out that space travel. So that working together is going to be absolutely key. And really thank you to all of you for your energy and dedication of taking those steps forward. So finally, to just say, this is a champagne reception, but the champagne will be at 4:30 after the next event. So, and I'll encourage you to move over to Theatre 2 so that you can hear some more about sustainability. And I hope that this has inspired you to think more broadly about how you can bring sustainability into packaging. So thank you again to all of the winners. You have to stay and take some photos because we did that, but I'll let everyone else go. Thank you very much.